Hello everyone and welcome to the second official episode of How Hunley Does Food. Today we are going to be making beef and bean burritos. So let's get started. Okay, to get started you are going to want to put 4 quarter-pound beef patties into a medium skillet. And don't forget to wash your hands after handling the beef. Okay, now that we have our 4 beef patties into the skillet, we gotta make sure that we put the beef back in the freezer. Now I'm going to turn the pan on medium-high. It's time to get started on our tortillas. For this, all you're going to need is salt, baking powder, all-purpose flour, vegetable oil, and water. Okay, you're going to want 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over as best as I can. Teaspoon of baking powder. A teaspoon of salt. And I keep both of these in my freezer, so I'm going to go ahead and put those back in there. And I'm going to grab a fork and whisk that a little bit. And work on that beef. It's still a little bit too cold to break up completely, but it's a good start. It's all going to have a nice even heat throughout now. So it's time to continue with the tortillas. Brain fog there. We're going to start with 1 cup of hot water for our wet ingredients. Okay, so here we have our 1 cup of hot water. And to the same container, we are going to pour 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil. And we're just going to add this to the dry ingredients and mix. Okay, now that we have our dough in a nice ball, now we put it on the floured surface and work on. Okay, this is the point where I would say that you could go ahead and stop when it comes to grinding your beef. About that size. And now what we are going to do is add 1/4 cup of taco seasoning and 1/4 cup of water. Okay, now comes the experimental part. I have here pepper jack cheese. I'm going to get a medium-sized plate. And my cheese grater. And I'm just going to grate that. Yeah, I think that worked out fine. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the heat off. Cut this dough ball into 8 even-ish pieces. Okay, now that we have our dough balls, I'm going to move the meat off to the side on a wood block, whatever you call it. And put the plate and grater off to the side, and put the cheese in the refrigerator. Now what I need to do is grab my giant cast iron cooking thing. I don't know what it's called, but it's heavy. That's for sure. Now, I did not clean this, so I'm going to show you how I clean it. For starters, what we're going to do is turn it up all the way on the heat. Grab a rag. And wet the rag. We are only going to want to wring it out a little bit because you want some of that water still in there. And there's this tiny little glob of oil over here that I can see. Once I can't really see that much anymore, I'll go ahead and start cleaning. Okay. So now we are just going to start wiping the grime and stuff off of the pan with our wet rag. And if you think, oh, I'm gonna burn my house down if I try this, you don't have to worry. Say the rag is still wet. It's not gonna catch on fire, and it's gonna collect all that disgustingness off of the pan. What you are going to want to do after that is just let all that excess water that you might have left behind evaporate. Which I think it's good. So So we're going to go ahead and turn that heat completely off because we got a while. Get out a rolling pin and start rolling out your little dough balls. Just go ahead and place the tortilla on the pan. Now you will notice that there is a lot of flour that is going to build up on the pan and burn. That is okay, I guess. If you want to, I guess, keep that from happening, you can give the tortilla a once-over with a pastry brush before you start. Okay, while our last half of the tortillas are cooking, we can go ahead and start on heating up our canned refried beans. Okay, we're going to put our beans on the back burner and flip that. And we are going to turn the back burner to just above medium-low and start mixing. Okay. The refried beans aren't exactly warm, but they'll do for what we're doing now. What we are going to do is we are going to spread about 2 or 3 tablespoons of the refried beans onto the middle of our tortilla, and then place around a half cup worth of the meat onto that. Now, I don't know exactly why, but folding a burrito was part of my 2nd grade curriculum whenever I was in school, and like I said, I don't know why. Go ahead and shut all of the heat off on the stove. And we are going to grab our sharp cheddar that we took out of the fridge earlier and attempt to cut it open. Now that we have our cheese open, we are going to do a finer grate on this one. I did about 1/4 of the block of cheese. We are going to go ahead and sprinkle our shredded cheese as best as we can onto our burritos in our Pyrex. It's gonna look pretty crappy to start with. And we are going to put it in the oven on the top rack in your 350 degree oven for 12 minutes. Okay. I have my burrito here. The cheese didn't quite brown like I would have wanted it to. I think if I had brought the temperature up to 400, it might have done that. But I would have reduced it to 7 to 9 minutes, maybe. So I suppose it's time to try it, isn't it? Yeah. It's a burrito. I don't want to eat the whole thing in front of the camera. Maybe if I had done better with the tortillas, made them a little thinner and more malleable. Have a good day. I think next week we're going to try to make breakfast burritos, something like that. I gotta have more burritos. So, have a good day and we'll see you in the next one.